Hey, hello, it's MapJ from MapJ Studios, and what the heck happened at the 2023 Oscars? No, seriously, I missed a part of it because the fire alarm rang in our building at the middle of the ceremony. Someone on the third floor was zooting it up. The Oscars are basically my Super Bowl. I don't know how to feel about that, but I'm gonna work with what I got. Instead of doing a simple reaction video, I wanted to take a look at the whole ceremony and break down what happened. The good, the bad, and the everything. The mood going into this year's ceremony was one unique blend of cautious optimism. We had every reason to drag our feet into this ceremony. Not only did last year's ceremony and awards and films get overshadowed by the slap, but that was arguably the highlight. The 94th Academy Awards represented the worst of the Oscars. I maintain that the Oscars are supposed to be a celebration of the very best of cinema, and these events are at their best not when they are further sucking up to the uber rich, and not when they are trying to pander to the common denominator, or who the Oscars assume are the common denominator, but when they reach out to us peasant class, and try to show us what made the movies of that year so great. Instead, last year's ceremony almost seemed to ooze a sort of contempt for the medium of film. Very infuriatingly, they decided to cast half a dozen-ish awards out of the live show to be announced instead on their Twitter feed, so they can make time for some funny skits. However, the year that followed saw some legitimately exciting films. An indie film, Everything Everywhere All at Once, from one formerly unrecognized directing duo, the Daniels, just sort of casually dropped in March and became a smash sensation. Top Gun Maverick and, later, Avatar Way of Water were high-profile award contenders that shook the box office. Elvis did too, to some extent. Films like RRR became recognizable in the States despite coming from rather unconventional places, and even prestige dramas like The Banshees of Inisherin made it into the lexicon of normie peoples. Even if it might have been because us Americans like hearing Irish people curse. I like it too. People were legitimately excited about the films that were primed to be recognized at the 95th Academy Awards, so this was the chance for me to see the kind of Oscars that I always dreamed of. Host Jimmy Kimmel would step out of the way, for the most part, and the stupid skits would be put on pause. For the most part. And screw you, Cocaine Bear was funny. This Oscar ceremony would be about the movies, so let us dive in. Everything Everywhere All at Once would make history, but just how much history? Did Angela Bassett do the thing? Did I get my predictions right, and did the Oscars get their winners right? We start off with Jimmy Kimmel doing a Top Gun Maverick homage, which seems to be one of the few things both sides of the political spectrum have in common.
Why are you like this, Tom?
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. This is your governor speaking.
Today's training evolution, dogfighting, taking on the corporate media.
I seriously thought he was going to jump out of those planes for real.
My banshees are caught in my inner Sheeran right now.
I didn't get that. The monologue covered pretty much everything you would expect. Will Smith reference, how much money Avatar 2 made, how much money Top Gun made, the Nicole Kidman AMC ad that apparently became a meme, but I just sort of missed all that somehow.
Heartbreak feels good in a place like this.
Babylon Roast, and BD Debs, one day Judgment Day will come and God will punish the sinners. Kimmel also notes that there were 16 first-time acting nominees. I believe all of our winners would end up being first-time nominees too. Ultimately, the monologue did everything it needed to do and recapped the general gist of the year without doing anything too special, which is just fine for what I was looking for after last year. Thank you for being delightfully boring. Dwayne Johnson and Emily Blunt announced the first category, Best Animated Feature, miraculously skirting around calling it a kids medium again, I assume because Del Toro is there and ready to drop some butts. To be fair, The Rock was actually quite insightful about the definition of animation, even if the joke was he was mansplaining it.
And let's
Come
think
on,
about
man.
it. Well,
Come on,
hold
it's
on
a long
second.
night, long night.
That word, animation, Latin.
Oh my god.
Its root meaning? To bestow life.
Del Toro's Pinocchio won Best Animated Feature as everybody, including me, predicted. It was just too powerful and could not be stopped. A very worthy winner, even if Marcel Duchamp with shoes on would absolutely be my vote.
Animation is ready to be taken to the next step. We are all ready for it. Keep animation in the conversation.
Also, they picked the best clip for Turning Red. It is not too often a non-Disney film wins Best Animated Feature, so it's always a big deal. Which Disney, who owns Oscars, made sure to undercut in just a little bit with a live-action Little Mermaid trailer. A movie I'm pretty sure I am never gonna see in my life. Last year's supporting winners, Ariana DeBose and Troy Kotsur, presented the Best Supporting Actor and Actress awards. As everybody expected, Ke Huy Quan from Everything Everywhere All at Once continues his deserved sweep after decades of being without work since his child acting days, and gives a killer speech.
My mom is 84 years old, and she's at home watching. Mom, I just want an Oscar!
While Jamie Lee Curtis won Best Supporting Actress, surprising us just as much as she did in the SAGs. Almost. Definitely not my vote. I would have voted for Stephanie Hsu from Everything Everywhere, nor was it my prediction. I predicted Carrie Condon from The Banshees of Inisherin, who I also would have voted over Jamie Lee Curtis. But it's hard not to be happy for her.
I know it looks like I'm standing up here by myself, but I am not. I am hundreds of people.
I feel like we can be happy for Jamie Lee Curtis and think Stephanie Hsu was robbed at the same time. It's a little contradictory, but that's how I'm going to choose to feel tonight. We lead into a celebration of applause, a song we have never heard of, from Tell It Like a Woman, a movie we have never seen. It's Diane Warren. We go into Best Documentary Feature, which Kimmel explains was a category with the slap, so don't hit the presenters. Please don't hit Riz Ahmed. This also gives Questlove a little extra time to shine for his win last year, which was nice considering his original speech got completely overshadowed. Navalny wins, as I predicted, and Navalny's family gets some time to speak to Navalny himself, which is powerful.
Our country will be free. Stay strong, my love.
It also feels a little weird considering the Oscars turned down Zelensky's request to speak, but if we were to mention all the times Hollywood was hypocritical, we would be here all day. Probably my favorite acceptance speech happened in the next category, Best Live Action Short, in which the short An Irish Goodbye won, which I predicted. It was one of the cast members' birthdays and they dedicated half of the speech to just sing to him. This is an all-timer, I love it.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you.
Jonathan Majors and Michael B. Jordan present Best Cinematography because of Creed 3, and they do not fight for our amusement, but they do give us a really cool opening monologue that educates you on what good cinematography can do to enhance a scene.
Okay, a question for my director. You ready? Let's do it. How do you make a character massive, imposing, and dominating?
Give the cinematographer the space to put the camera low, pointing up, like Spike Lee and his legendary cinematographer Ernest Dickerson did with Malcolm X.
And going into the history of camera work, and this is the stuff I wanted the Oscars to do for so long. All Quiet on the Western Front won. Holy moly. As I predicted, and I'm happy with that even if I personally would have voted for Tar's incredible long takes. Still, All Quiet had some beautiful staging and lighting and I'm happy for them.
Well, it's not my birthday, but I feel like it is.
This leads into a performance of This Is a Life from Everything Everywhere All at Once, and this makes me so happy, thinking about the normal people who have never seen this movie before just having no idea what is happening. Hi, this movie is great. Stephanie Hsu is one of the singers here, and I just discovered recently that she was in Broadway before this and is a very talented singer, so wow. Now makeup and hairstyling, in which The Whale won. Agree or not, I do appreciate the voiceover going more into detail about the accomplishment, but that does not round out one of the most cutoffs in Oscars history, holy moly.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Darren.
I predicted Elvis and got it wrong. It looked like the work done on one character is just enough so long as that work is especially showy. This is something I would have actually given to All Quiet on the Western Front for using its makeup to tell the story. Jenny the Donkey steals the show, baby! Next, they present Best Costume Design, and once again the Oscars do some cool stuff, showing off some of the actual costumes in the background. They also make Paul Dano present the award after snubbing him yet again for the umpteenth time.
Every year, the Oscar for Costume Design is presented by the most stylish and fashion-forward actress in Hollywood.
And Paul Dano.
Justice for Dano, man. Ruth Carter wins for Black Panther Wakanda Forever, just like she did for the original Black Panther. I stuck by my guns and predicted this one, and she is my pick as well.
Thank you to the Academy for recognizing the superhero that is a Black woman. She is my mother. This past week, Mabel Carter became an ancestor. Chadwick, please take care of Mom.
After that moving moment, it's Naatu Naatu! Anyway, All Quiet on the Western Front wins International Feature. Alright. Also, Natish wanted to let you know that Argentina 1985 is a banger and you should watch it. Jimmy Kimmel takes a brief moment to be a little bit of a dick to the shorts categories. I guess I didn't watch all of them though, so I can't judge. The Elephant Whisperers wins. I predicted Stranger at the Gate, but I had little motive for that.
I stand here today to speak for the sacred bond between us and our natural world, for the respect of indigenous communities, and empathy towards other living beings.
I do have opinions about Best Animated Short, though. The Boy, the Mole, the Fox, and the Horse wins, despite the film honestly not being very well received. I said it in my predictions video, and I will say it again. This category was a good test to see if Apple TV Plus truly has campaign power, or if Coda's win was a fluke. Sure enough, they did what Disney did here, so I think we should be keeping an eye on them going forward. I predicted and would have chosen Ice Merchants.
She then said, there's a long pause, and she said, you know, Charlie, I think it takes a lot of courage to make a film.
Lady Gaga performs, and the camera really couldn't get enough of her, I guess. I really like this song, why are you making me cringe like this? Production design goes to... All Quiet on the Western Front. Stop it! I predicted and would have chosen Babylon, and this was one of the shockers of the night for me.
First of all, I want to give this to my two beautiful sons, Zebedee and Gustav.
But John Cho and the creator of Velma present Best Original Score, which is an award that just had to go to Babylon. Hurwitz naturally did it again with his best work yet, a true and inevitable accomplishment.
Formed his first rock band at 14.
You know, by working on a film like that, you always are deeply touched, and sometimes you have to make the screen very small.
He seems like a nice guy, I can't be mad at him, but this makes me angrier. Cocaine Bear, it's Cocaine Bear, oh my gosh, it's Cocaine Bear.
No director wants to deal with this. Okay, what are you doing? Stop it. Stop. Put your paw down. Are you trying to score right now?
Anyway, Avatar: Way of Water wins Best Visual Effects, which was one of the night's most expected wins.
To James Cameron, or Jim Cameron, whose thumbprint, artistic thumbprint, is on every frame of this movie.
Jimmy Kimmel tells a few jokes that even Malala can't pretend to find funny.
You know what? That's why you're Malala and nobody else is. The winner is Malala Land, everybody.
And Rihanna performs Lift Me Up, and she brought the whole orchestra, and she actually gets lifted up, like, a little bit, and it's easily the best performance of the night in my opinion, but that was when the fire alarm rang, so I missed it live. Yeah, I missed Rihanna, but don't worry, I caught Malala Land. The screenplay categories were great, going into the motivations and intent behind each of these nominees. Best Original Screenplay went to Everything Everywhere All at Once, which I predicted. Maybe I would have picked Banshees by the slimmest hair, but this is absolutely deserved. They are even screenplays that just excel in different things.
Mr. Chambers, Madame George, Miss NFL, Ken Cheeseman, Mirta Tochi, Joan Darling, and Edith Hallman. You guys educated me, and you taught me to be less of a butthead. Your turn.
Best Adapted Screenplay went to Women Talking, a film that has been notoriously overlooked the entirety of Oscar season, which I also predicted, and is well deserved. Sarah Polley reportedly had zero expectations that she was going to win and didn't even prepare a speech, so this was all impressively ad-lib, apparently.
Your story will be different from ours. It's a promise, a commitment, and an anchor, and it's what I would like to say with all of my might to my three incredible kids.
Everything Everywhere All at Once wins Best Film Editing. Good. Legit one of the most impressively edited films of probably all time, so if this did not win, it would have been a legitimate dark mark on the Academy.
Wow, this is too much. This is my second film, y'all. This is crazy.
Also, Top Gun Maverick won sound. I missed it when taking notes and don't know where it is, so I'm just putting this in here, predicted and deserved. And finally, RRR's Naatu Naatu wins Best Original Song. You know, I think that's well-deserved, and it's probably my vote. Yeah, that was one of my more outlandish predictions. I think I underestimated the whole global sensation aspect of Naatu Naatu. I also convinced my friend, who organized an Oscars pool in her workplace, to predict Rihanna instead of Naatu Naatu, and thus screwed her out of her first place, which she lost by one category. I'm sorry.
There was only one wish on my mind.
So was Rajamouli's and my family.
The Daniels win Best Director, as predicted, and in my opinion, as deserved, even though there was some stiff personal competition with Todd Field, who I predicted could have stolen, but I'm glad I went safe on that one at least. With this, we are at the final 3 categories. Best Actor was another category I got wrong. Brendan Fraser from the non-Oscar nominated and rather divisive movie, The Whale, wins over Austin Butler from Elvis. I would have picked Colin Farrell, and yet this just feels so right, doesn't it? Fraser has been through way too much undeserved hogwash, so I'm glad he got his moment.
I'm grateful to Darren Aronofsky for throwing me a creative lifeline and hauling me aboard the good ship The Whale.
But I feel like all eyes were on Best Actress that night. The race between Lydia Tarr from Kate Blanchett from Lydia Tarr from Tar, and Michelle Yeoh from Everything Everywhere All at Once was maybe the tightest acting race I have ever seen, and it could have gone either way. Heck, I don't even know who I would have picked. Both give some of cinema's finest performances, albeit, again, excelling in completely different ways in very different movies. When all else is tied though, I gravitate towards personally choosing Michelle Yeoh, and I became super invested in seeing her make history and win, and...
Michelle Yeoh.
This might be one of my new favorite Oscars moments.
Don't let anybody tell you you are ever past your prime. Never give up.
So it was not a surprise that, after a long night of domination, Everything Everywhere All at Once won Best Picture. As predicted, as deserved. Let's break it down. Yeah, it was the most nominated film this year. It was nominated for 11 categories and it won 7. This is really good, especially for a non-tech sweeper. 6 out of 7 wins were in the above-the-line categories, which has never happened before. It's an Oscars record. And as much as I would have liked Banshees or Tar or even The Fabelmans to have won something, I think it was deserved for Yao each and every time. Except for maybe supporting actress, but even then I would have just given it to a different actress from the movie. This Oscars, it felt like movies were being celebrated, and they were reaching out and showing the audience how cool movies are instead of cringily trying to make the movies cool enough for the audience. Or, more accurately, to make the Oscars cool enough for the audience. This was a good Oscar ceremony that mostly focused on the films themselves. As easy as it could be to focus instead on the little cringy moments, and I'm sure there are plenty, I think it's worth making it clear that these are great steps in the right direction, and hopefully the Oscars can soon become even better. Maybe don't snub Daniel Deadwyler next time, yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.